there are several ways that, in my opinion, information comes to us to help us solve problems that we're having or to move ourselves forward in life. So I'm going to share with you some things that I look at as the higher guidance and how it comes in. So first, I'm going to look at external experiences, things that happen around us, not within us. So what do I mean by signs? And sometimes I call these nudges because they nudge us into the direction that will have us get onto the path that we're after. These can be interactions with people. These can be literal signs, and they could just be little, small serendipitous exchanges that seem to add up to answers. So what do I mean by that? So I'll share a couple simple ones that happened recently that I'm currently present to. And one is my dad mentioned to me a specific supplement that's considered medicinal. And for some reason I wrote it down and put it on my refrigerator. I don't usually do that. And then not long after that, I spoke with a colleague of mine, and he mentioned the exact same supplement. It's kind of a specific, thing too. And so I said, okay, well, time to consider that. And just maybe a week or two ago, I was thinking about getting the juicer out. And probably 2 days later, a friend mentioned celery juice at first thing in the morning. And the day after that, totally without prompt, someone said, I've been juicing celery. And I thought, okay, I'm listening. And that's one of the ways, just, those interactions. And sometimes there's interactions that are more overt. Someone shares something that seems so wise. And I honestly don't have a specific example of this because I don't think it's happened recently that I can recall. But, just you might be sitting in a waiting area, like for a bank, and somebody strikes up a conversation. They just say something that seems so perfect for where you are. And I just have to ask myself, like, how did I get put here in this moment with this person at this exact time that they would say that to me? That thing that they said just really hit home for me. I just don't believe that those are coincidences. I feel like those are divinely arranged exchanges that are meant to guide us in life. So I just want to put it back to you, like, where have you had this experience that, you've been seeking something, or even if you're not seeking it directly, it just shows up as a solution to a problem that you're having. And then there are things like dreams or visions. And I'll share with you one that, for me, I'll probably never forget it. I was doing a course with my church. It was a prosperity course. Part of the agreement of the course was to give a certain amount of time to a volunteer effort. And the spiritual leader of the course said, take some time, take a few days, take a week to figure out where you want to give your time so that it's in alignment with who you are. So I said, I don't know what I want to do. And so one night as I was going to bed, I laid down, and in my mind, I asked to be shown or to be told in a way that is so clear to me that I can't deny it in my human form. And what began to appear as I relaxed, and I was not asking for it right then, but it showed up right then. So what began to appear to me behind my closed eyes was clouds, and they took the shape of, no kidding, Betty White's hair, like her poofy bouffant thing, right? And I knew it was Betty White. And I just said, okay, I got it. And I don't know what that means, but tomorrow I'm gonna go find out why I'm seeing Betty White. And then I couldn't go to sleep. So I got up, I went online, and Betty White has been an animal activist for a long time. And she's kind of like a poster child for it. I mean, she takes a stand for no-kill shelters and animal advocacy. So I knew right then that I would be volunteering to help animals somehow. And so we just looked, and we found something that was every Saturday and Sunday, just a few miles from our home where we could volunteer. And so that's what we did. And we ended up fostering 3 different dogs and adopting one. Now, I'd like to talk to you about also another way that information shows up, and it shows up like knowing or hearing, even seeing. and sometimes feeling. And in French terminology, they have words for these that you may have heard. There is clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. There is clairaudience, which is clear hearing. There is claircognizance, which is clear knowing, and clairsentience, which is clear feeling. And those are terms that often people who have psychic experiences use to define how information comes into them. Now, for me, I wouldn't consider myself psychic, but I do have experiences of clear knowing, claircognizance. And I've had a few experiences of clairsentience where I'm interacting with a person through my practice and they're describing a pain that they have and I feel it. And that's not me absorbing their issues. That's me getting information that will help me do my job of getting rid of their pain. Now, interestingly enough, my experience with claircognizance is how this course got created. Back in maybe July 2017, I was walking my dog Gerda, and I was thinking, oh, look, the New Year's going to be here before you know it. I think I'd like to do a New Year course again. And I was just thinking about, how should I price this? How much time should I give per week? How many emails? How should I engage with people? I was just in the inquiry of how should it go? And in that process, I heard in my head, do it for free. Let me tell you that everything I know about creating a course talks about making money. And so to me, I had resistance to that do it for free. And it wasn't a lot of resistance and it didn't last very long, but right in the beginning, just a series of questions. Why would I do it for free? There needs to be an exchange. There's supposed to be, participation is heightened by people investing money, and all that was happening for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And then I went, and then boom, I said, okay, I'll do it for free. That was it. Because I have learned that when information shows up in this way, this divine guidance, it doesn't matter if it's in an interaction with someone outside of me. It doesn't matter if it shows up internally as a thought or an idea that is not my normal thinking. When I ignore it, life gets bumpy right after that because the divine guidance is there to help us. It's there to help me and guide me. And over the last several years, it has become clearer that there is divine guidance coming in. And there's a way that it looks in my life and for me that I can no longer deny it. And when I do deny it, I have now learned that it gets a little difficult when I ignore it, because then what am I left to? I'm left to my human nature. I'm left to my conscious mind, and then whatever's programmed in my subconscious dictating my feelings and all of that. So I am learning, I'm not going to say I have learned, but I am learning to relinquish how I think something should go to the higher guidance. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's very difficult. So let's leave the conversation there for now. What does higher guidance look like? How does it show up in your life? Have you ever had the experience of something so serendipitous that you couldn't ignore it? You were just left with, wow, where did that come from? Or do you dream or envision? Do you have visions of any type? Or have you ever, even if it's only once? And do you ever have that experience of clairsentience or claircognizance, clairaudience or clairvoyance? Anything like that ever happened to you? I'd love to hear from you. I hope that if you can't make the Friday call, I hope that you will let me know and we can create a different time to get together. It's okay if it's only one person or 2 people or 3 people. It doesn't have to be the whole group. Not everyone can do the Friday call, and I think everyone should get on a call with me at some point. That would be wonderful. Okay, until next time.